Okay, so welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing this. Thank you for showing up each show each day as you can. As I'm showing up, and I'm very grateful I get to do this every day, or every day I should say, or whenever I do it. Of course, depends on when I record it. But I'm grateful I get to show up each day when I don't feel my best, like I am. Um, you can probably feel that I'm not feeling my best, like the last recording I did. So hopefully I don't think it'll continue to go on as the other show, but we'll see. Well, I'll probably get better because these flus don't last forever. So uh, the nice about being young in my age is in my immune system for a young person like myself recovers faster and recovers speed. Just recovers from rainy flus or colds, because when you're young, your body recovers and heals faster. So, but when you get older, that's a little different. So, but when you're young and healthy, uh, you recover faster, basically. So, but I just have, if you're new to the pod, or not, either way, maybe you've been listening, maybe not. But I've been dealing with a kind of a cold, with a fever, runny nose, and you can probably tell by the sound of my voice. And I think there's a saying that says, professional shows up regardless how they feel, what's going on in their own personal world or their own personal life or whatever's going on for them. They just keep on showing up each time when things don't seem as rainbows and sunshines, though it seems like. So I would just say show up as you can, unless there's something that you can't do it. You can't do it, of course. But I don't think this will be long as I'm doing this. So for today's pod, solo pod, um, I was gonna talk about repetition. Why is repetition very important? Well, repetition is very important, and the reason why I tell you is because uh, if you play a program, if you read a book or listen to a podcast or anything to that kind of nature, if you do something that you've never done before, like let's say if you're gonna go play this podcast like 150 times, it's hypothetical. And if you play this podcast for, let's say, the 6 or 3 months, or maybe a year, and if you play this podcast for quite some time, over and over, what's going to happen is over time, it's going to reprint in your subconscious, and probably not going to realize it or notice right away. But over time, by the months and weeks go by, maybe a month or so, or 30 days, or maybe 21 days, like 25, I don't know. If But over time, when you realize it, you're going to think differently. You're going to start to want things differently. You're going to start do things differently that you probably never done before, maybe your life. And what you're doing is changing your your conditioning, your subconscious mind, your subconscious beliefs. And what's the beautiful truth about this is, the more you do it, the more that the things that you want come to you. It seems like the more, if you take action, let's say, then the things will come to you. And that sounds kind of bizarre and strange and out of the box, but it's true. If you keep on playing a program or read a book or listen to a podcast or doing something on the same basis every day, like 5 times a day, 10 times a day, depends how you do it. If you take action, that thing will come to want you. I mean, that's incredible. That's the beautiful truth, I think, and it's incredible how that works. But why is repetition necessary to get anything you want? If you really want to get the dreams that you want, the life you want, the career you want, the whatever you want, the money you want, is I think you have to kind of reprogram your subconscious by playing a program that you never done before, or something that particular, or maybe you have, but you haven't been disciplined by it. But I would recommend, if you want to be successful in anything that matter, it doesn't matter what it is, it doesn't matter what you want. I would say is play something, read a book, stick to that for 30 days, 3 months, maybe 6 months, I guess, depends. It depends on the person's mind, basically, of how their beliefs are really strong, how their condition, their beliefs have been always been strong since their infant days. I would just say stick to that until really you start noticing your own life, the changes, the the um the synchronicities, the opportunities, because they will come. Trust me. And you're probably thinking by watching or listening, it's like, nah, that's impossible. Well, if you play something or read something or whatever you do by repetitionally over and over, what's going to happen is things are going to come to you. You're going to start doing it, but it's going to come back to you back. And that's the beautiful truth. I know it sounds kind of out of the box, and it's probably supposed to be out of the box at first, but over time, it'll blow your mind away how it works, and it has happened for me personally. Have I gone through some challenges? Sure, as we all do. Life's never easy, and rainbows and sunshines as it may seem at times. But you do get through it over time, and you don't think about that stuff as much. So, but like for me, like I play a program on YouTube of the late, uh, the late Bob Proctor on YouTube, and he's on this guy's video or some channel or whatever, and he was talking about his little bit of his life and his ways, he was unhappy, he was in debt and all that stuff, and they're talking about some legacy doc called Think Think in the Legacy of Think and Go Rich from the book Think and Go Rich book. And you can probably search on the YouTube if you know what I'm talking about. And there's some young guy. He's probably in his late 20s, I guess. I don't know. And it's about an hour long. And I've been watching that video like every day in the last, what is it, 4 or 5 months now, I feel like. Or longer or less. But I can't even keep track of it with the days and how long I listen to it. Because I don't just skip over and say, this is. No, I was like, I watch it when I'm when I'm planning, when I'm going to sleep, or I'm doing something, or journaling, or prepping for the show, or even maybe to go on a walk or something like that. Whatever it is I'm doing, I listen to when I get a chance, when I'm not listening to a podcast or whatever, and I play that video on my phone or TV or my iPad, and I watch that video like pretty much every day, 5 times a day, 3 times a day, every day as I can. I haven't. I don't think I missed a day since I started watching that video. And what has happened for me is it started to kind of change my beliefs. It started to help me uh, you know, to help me to get in a better belief system and get more self-awareness, discover self-awareness. I should say how you would describe it. And what has happened for me is changed my beliefs. Is changed everything what I see. And I was raised to believe that. It's like for me, it's like I'm sure for me, all of us, like if you don't, if you, you know, if you want to go to school, you can't get a good job. If you don't make a lot of money, you won't go to school. You won't get a degree. Well, I would argue it's like, no, it's like, and I realize it's like you don't need to go to school on certain things. If it's a lawyer or doctor, sure. But I realize that over time, it's like you don't need to go to the doctor, or excuse me, you don't need to like get a degree for an influence job on YouTube, let's say. And I would argue you don't. And I was raised to believe that like if you want to be successful in life, you have to go to school and get a degree or some kind of thing. And it's like if it's a business degree, which I don't think you really need these days, personally. You see a bunch of these influencers on YouTube and all these platforms. Like, do you think many of them have degrees? Probably not, because they don't need it. And I was raised to believe that if you can't find a really great career or job, that means you can't make a lot of money, you can't do what you care about. I was raised with that kind of belief. And I find that's not true. And I argue that it's completely opposite with that way. And I think many of us are raised with these kind of different similar beliefs, like you can't do this because certain somebody says so, or if you want to be successful, you're going to have to go to school and get a big degree or something. Well, maybe for lawyers or doctors, I understand that, sure, but for mostly everything, like influencer or I don't know, podcaster or something like that, you really don't need it. And I see these people going back to school, like they go back to school, but what they don't know is they're kind of like they're short on knowledge. They think they need more degrees. They think they need more degrees on things they need to know. The truth is, those people who go to school, they already know. They're not short on degrees. They're short on knowledge. They're short on awareness. And what school tries to or convince us, it teaches us, is school uh, teaches us to gather information. If you read the tests, you read the books, you do all these things, and once you leave the school and graduate, that means now you're educated. That's not education. That's what you're doing. Is what the teacher is doing is gathering a bunch of information in your consciousness, but it isn't matching your subconscious. Think about that. Think about it. I mean, you'll see other people who went to school are absolutely brilliant, but they're broke with money, with whatever. They can't find work. And it's wild how that works. It's kind of strange and crazy, but it's true. And you're going to find other people who never went to school are building multi-millionaire businesses online and anywhere else or whatever. And they're succeeding. They don't need a college degree. I'm not against going to school, but I don't think that's really necessary. I don't think you need a degree to work in YouTube, let's say. I don't think you need a degree to do like this, because I never did well in school, and I never did well in school, so it's just something school never teaches us about repetition. School has never taught us about repetition, and it's funny how they always teach us to gather a bunch of information, you know, all this stuff. We need to know this, we need to know about that. But what school doesn't teach us, they don't tell us. They don't teach us is we have to change our subconscious patterns, basically, or subconscious mind, our beliefs, basically. And we've been conditioned uh, to gather all these information, all these things have been going since our infant days, or older, I guess, little kid, 4 or 5 years old, I don't know. And we have these programs and these beliefs that we can't do something because we see somebody doing it. It's like, oh, Mr. Billy has that, or Miss or Mrs. Somebody has it, or she has it, or he is like he did, but like you can't do that because of your age groups, like your certain age. The truth is, age has nothing to do with it. We have these, it's like we have these like it's like with age. It's like we look at our age, like we think of it as this crazy age. Like I think our age stopped us because if you stop at a certain age, you gotta retire at a certain age. We gotta stop at a certain. Well, that's like one of the worst ways for your mind if you think about it, or you can't do something because somebody told you since you're 5 years old or something. That's which is not true. And the truth is, we're all capable of doing anything we put our mind to. But the question is, will we all do it? I don't know. Probably not. Not everybody will. Not everybody will put their mind into something that they want to do because we've been conditioned by our environment, by the repetition of our environment, by the things by over and over. That whatever goes on in a child's mind as they're 4 or 5 years old or younger is if you put a child in a lack poverty environment, they're gonna if you put that in their subconscious over and over and over by repetition, by the first 7 years or whatever, they're gonna believe that and they'll think that money's hard to earn, they'll think that it's hard to get anywhere in life. If you put a child in an abundance wealth environment, that child will uh, by repetitionally they'll believe by money's easy to make, it's fine. It's easy to find a career. It's fine to go anywhere in the world. It's fine to get anything you want, because it's whatever we tell the kid in ourselves. Basically, that's what we're going to believe. Basically, and it's true. And it's like we program kids to think that because we go by and we hear, see, touch, and all that stuff, and with things we believe, then they'll believe, because it passed down through generation to generation until somebody in the different generation says, "Nope, enough of this shit, enough of this this nonsense of conditioning that I've been living since Saturn and Saturn." Let's say. So it's like I think we need to be very aware, conscious about how we think about things, about ourselves, about other people, about how we think about things, how we can do it, how well we cannot. And the truth is, you can. I think that we've been conditioned with a lie that we're not capable of doing anything, and it's been passed down through generations. It's been passed down to this generation, to that generation, to that generation of every family, from mom's side, from dad's side, from their generations to beyond. Who knows where that comes from? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is you're changing it. You're changing your mindset. You're changing by repetition. If you're playing a podcast, if you're changing something that you always wanted to do, but for some strange reason you tell yourself you can't. And I think that we live in a world where there's so much negativity, there's so much garbage that tries to convince us that, like, oh, the world's this, the world's bad. Well, if it is, then why why we have iPhones and all these things, and these delivery things come to our house and all these things, and or whatever, certain thing like that. It's like I don't agree with that, and I don't believe that. And I believe that we have all the technology, the phones, uh, the internet to make the money, to do things we want to do, to spread our message like this, and we can do the things we want to do like this. We can put ourselves on YouTube or Instagram or something. And what we always hear, like, oh, it's so hard to find a career. It's so hard to do this. Well, it isn't. Then why is it so easy to make money on YouTube? Why is it easy to get access to McDonald's or something? Why is it so easy to buy something on Walmart on your phone, let's say? And do not tell me it's so horrible to do these things, or it's so hard. It's the like we're living in a limited world, which not really. I don't buy that. I don't believe that, and I don't agree with that. And it's like we told our kids, "Oh, little Johnny, that's it. We live in a limited world. We can't have this because we're this." Well, the truth is, you can. It's like stop telling little Johnny they can't, because the truth is they can. And as I was thinking about this and prepping this, it's like I think little kids are more happier than their own parents. Think about it, because little kids use their imagination. They use their imagination more than their own parents, I think. I guess. And they're more happier, they live in the moment, they use their imagination, they're always dreaming about something, they always pretend they're on the moon or something, they always pretend they're at something, they maybe do it by repetitionally or something, but there's maybe someone in their family or somebody who tries to tell them, "Little Johnny, you can't do that because little Billy on the cross the street has it and you can't do it." Well, that's not true. That's not true, because whatever you tell Johnny, Johnny's gonna believe. What Billy has, what Johnny can have. It's like, you know what I mean? It's because we told our kids that these things, and certain kids leave and certain things don't, because what goes on uh, in their consciousness, in their subconscious by repetition, that's what they'll believe. So we got to be very aware and conscious how we do that, how we tell our kids that. And are things always easy? No, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that things are not challenging. I'm not denying that. But what I'm not denying is you can actually program your subconscious by playing a program. And there's a quote or a little clip on YouTube of the great late Jim Rohn, and he says, I might paraphrase his quote in his video. It says, it's like, if you wish to be better, work on yourself harder, not on your career. And if you want to, something about like, work on your life, work on yourself harder. Work harder, not on your career. And similar to that kind of quote video, and I found it to be very true. And there's another video of him saying is, if you change, everything will change around you, and it's so true, and he's right. And it's like, if you think about it, if you change your subconscious, if you do that over and over, as I told you earlier, I was listening to Proctor, and the guy who's interviewing Bob Proctor. I listen to that like every day, excuse me, pardon me, sorry about that. Throat's still killing me, cause it's still kind of bugging me. Anyways, sorry. So, I think I have to get a drink of water. Anyways, sorry about that. Excuse me. So, but I was telling you, it's like I've been playing that like every day, every week, every day mostly, 5 times a day, maybe sometimes more. Because when I'm listening to a podcast or watching a football game, now the football season's over, and or something that's particular, if I'm watching a movie or doing something or doing something, I always think about, I gotta watch that video again. I gotta reprogram my subconscious. And what I'm doing is I'm reprogramming it, and the more I do it, the more my mindset and my beliefs change. And it's so true, because I notice how my beliefs change. And it's just like, it's just like, it's incredible and beautiful how that really works. If you do it correctly, if you turn the radio off, if you turn the TV off, and you play a program, and you read a book, or do something, or read something, read a chapter, or listen to the same podcast, or watch the same video over and over and over, or some kind of thing, whatever. If you read something or whatever you do, if you stick to that for, let's say, I don't know, 30 days, 3 months to 6 months, or maybe a year, what you're going to find is your subconscious beliefs or life's going to change. And it's going to change by, I don't know, moments. Depends on the person's belief system. Basically, how they believe about themselves or anything around them. And I think that, I think the more you do it, the more that you want something, the more it'll come to you. And it's incredible how that works. And it's incredible because many people think that they just read the book or listen to the podcast and listen to everybody else. But what they don't get is they're not getting the repetition, the same thing over and over. It's not so much the information; it's so much the understanding of it. I think most people misunderstood about that. Like, oh, if you read the book or something, if you get not necessarily, not really. If you like, it's like if you read the same thing over and over, or if you listen to this over and over, just for example, if you do this, let's say for 30 days, 3 months, or 6 months, or even a year, it depends how long you do it, you're going to change your subconscious beliefs. You're going to change your life. And it has changed for me personally. And it has changed for me spiritually, mentally, physically, all those great things. It has my health, everything else. And it sees myself differently. I see other things differently. And I think you got to see yourself differently if you want to change yourself, because it's like, I think there's a saying that says, if you want to what was it saying? There's a video of Wayne Dyer says, or a clip of him, says, the way you look at something changes. It changes or some kind of thing, I think. Because the way you look at something changes, and I think that's true. So, by repetitionally, and what you're doing is reprogram your subconscious. And don't go to these YouTubers and podcasts and all these books and think that you're gonna just read it and think you're not gonna get it. What you have to do is discipline yourself. It means gives you a command that you don't want to do at times, but you do it anyway for the best for yourself. And what you're doing is you're disciplining your mind, you're disciplining your mindset, you're disciplining your body, you're disciplining your subconscious. And the more you do that, the more, by repetition, of course, the more it sticks in your mind. Because many people have a hard time trying to stick their habits by something, because many people look at the outside of their own problem. They think it's something is outside of them. No, what's happening is what's going on inside of you, inside of your your mind, your subconscious, please. The other way, if you're going to change your life, is, or many things I should say, is the top thing, my own experience, is, doesn't mean it's always going to work for everybody, but I would say is play a program, get a podcast, get a book, or do something to that similar to can really help you, or something that can play a program or read a book or do something. If you do that for, let's say, 3 months to 6 months or even a year, you're going to find mind-blowing results. So it's incredible how that works, and many people are so looking for this influencer, to this guy, to this girl, or this doctor. Look, if you want to be successful, you're gonna have to reprogram your subconscious daily, not once in a while, not like every 20 days or something, all the time, as the best as you can. Doesn't mean you're always gonna do it every moment or every minute of your life. You got other things to do. I get that, but you gotta discipline yourself, like I'm doing right now when I'm not feeling my best. Let's say right now is sometimes you gotta just go for it. Like you gotta go for it. Like think of a football game when a quarterback's their team's on the line, their season's on the line or something. And if it's, let's say it's 4th and 6, and like you think of yourself as calling a quarterback sometimes, and you're on because it's about, let's say, a minute or something, it's no timeouts, no something, and you just go for it. And sometimes you gotta go for it. Like, do you want it or not? Because, like, it's on the moment. It's like, this is the moment right now because, this is the moment. So sometimes you gotta take advantage of things to go for it. And you do if you don't. Sometimes you miss and sometimes you don't. Because sometimes I look at myself as a quarterback, but I'm really not. But sometimes when I'm going for it, I just go for it as a quarterback if I have to get like a big first down or something, to really take advantage of something. That sometimes I look at myself as that. Like, you picture yourself as a somebody, like you're actually taking advantage of something. I reprogram your subconscious mostly. If you wanna go after something, change your mindset. Learn about the mind. Learn about yourself. Many people don't know about their mind, and many people get so lost about what to do, what to this. Well, I would say is find something to be grateful all the time. If you find to be grateful, reprogram your subconscious. Read a book over and over. Go to places. Get a coach. Do something. Do what you love and do what you care about, and listen to your intuition. That's, I would say. And do what you can, of course. Doesn't mean it's always going to be perfect. I'm not perfect by any means. But I do acknowledge that, that I have my challenges and everything else. But there's a saying that says every challenge is a blessing in disguise afterwards when you go through it. And I find it to be true. So I think so. Just something. Like, find something repetitionally to help your mind. Seriously. I mean, I'm not saying this to get attention. I'm saying this because it's really helped me. If this can help me, this can help you. So please do that. So that's I would say my experience. So it's different for every person, but I would recommend doing that. So see what happens for you if you do that. Let's say for periods of time. So uh, you know, so it's just something to really go after. Just to be disciplined about your dreams or whatever you want. I don't care what it is. I really don't care what it is. Just go after it. And do something. So anyways, I'm very grateful and I'm very happy I get to do this on a consistent basis every week, every show as I can show up. When times I don't feel my best self as a professional doing its job basically. So, anyways, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And share this podcast anyway if you're listening or watching, and I really appreciate it. Before I go, hit that follow button or subscribe button. These days I think it's follow button on Spotify and most places except on YouTube. Subscribe up there, and I really appreciate it. So do that for me as well, and I'm so grateful I get to do this every week on a week, not every week, but every show basis, I should say. So excuse me. So thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot. So thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.